I mean, you just saw what Thunder Awaken did to Wildcard, a team that were no slouches coming into that series, and then were kind of made to look a little bit silly as they got hit by the 2-0, and Lava have basically allowed Thunder Awaken to get the most Thunder Awaken draft I think we have seen to this point in the event. So you're playing into exactly what your opponent feels comfortable with, so Lava have to either have some sort of counterplay in their back pocket, or they weren't really paying attention, and I highly doubt that Lava weren't paying attention.
Yeah, it's uh, I want to say just a little bit confusing. And now in this position, you'd ideally want to pick up your mid laner. Of course, problem is Death Prophet's already been taken out, so your easy pick isn't going to feel nearly as simple. They could try to run the Invoker. The only problem, of course, is if you do go Invoker, well, you're not really going to have enough time. And that is very, very different. That's a completely sidestepping the rest of the meta in this tournament. But maybe an answer versus some of these tanky heroes. Of course, the only problem with Slark is a lot of the time, especially before the patch, you're still just dying to magic damage. You don't really get the opportunity to hit all too many heroes before you're the one that's under threat. And I wonder with how the items have changed up. Of course, Echo Saber is still the same, still really good, but it just feels like this hero hasn't had its spot in the sunshine for quite a while now for a very good reason. And is he going to be able to actually eat through these very strength-based tanky heroes on Thunder Awaken? I don't know. We're gonna have to wait and find out.
Yeah, that's a pretty big question mark there. I suppose if this is Kataro on the position 1 Slark, which I'm not really sure what else they would really want to try, the mag is going to be there to maybe buff him up with your Empower, so some of the items that the Slark might want got a little bit cheaper. The Empower can maybe increase his farming rate a little bit further, so maybe Lava feel that's enough. It has shifted the timing window enough for the Slark to be relevant earlier on, because that has been the problem. When we've seen Slark, and we have seen it very sparingly, but in recent times, over the past couple of months, you keep sort of waiting, because the Slark needs to get those one or two big items before he can really commit to any fights, and he doesn't really farm as quickly as the vast majority of other options at the carry position. So if they can't speed up his farming rate, I'm not entirely sure what the Slark's going to be able to do.
No, and that's where I suppose it's a little bit less of a concession if they did go for a hero like the PA, where you can fight versus the Timbersaw early on. You can kind of hit up versus him in lane. At the same time, though, what happened to Monkey King? Isn't that like the de facto answer versus a Timbersaw that you don't really have a
Right.
plan for? It
Was not
makes me
banned.
wonder what's going on in terms of whether or not Kataro actually wanted to maybe play an empowered Monkey King, or if whether or not they thought that with the Jakiro they had already been counterpicked a little bit too hard. I don't know. I feel like it's a gamble that Lava didn't really necessarily need to make. So I'm kind of like, okay, let's see what this Slark can do. And hey, maybe we are completely wrong. This isn't a Katara Slark. They send it mid, they give it to Leo style, and he's playing versus Kunkka, and he's,
Stay
cranking
down,
90s.
stay down.
I don't know. It kind of throws convention out the window here. Whereas Thunder Awaken, they are cut and dry. This is the, I don't want to say most bland lineup I've seen, but they just kind of do everything very well. They don't really have a weak bone in their body. They're just a standard lineup where I think Lava, they're very high tempo, they're very play oriented, and if those plays whiff, well, I think Thunder Awaken, it's almost a default win for them if they just follow the basic game plan.
I mean, at this point, you look at their lineup, you basically have every single member of their team on one of their top 2 or 3 heroes in terms of sort of their signature style. So if you're Lava, you got to bring something. And the Necrophos is an interesting choice. We'll see. Okay, it's Frank who's going to pick it up here, but that means we've got ourselves an interesting scenario mid, because it's either the Slark or the Mag, and ET obviously one is going to be better than the other, but I don't really like either one to go up against Sakunka.
Well, that's the problem, and yeah, so it's gonna be a mid
Mhm.
mag. It's as great as Magnus is, and I do think he is a much better. Not only he's a much better off laner and safe laner. A problem is you're not gonna send a safe lane mag versus a Timbersaw. You're not gonna do that to your guys, so it forces this, I think, a little bit of an awkward situation. This Timbersaw must have just really caught them off guard for them to mess with their lanes this heavily. And okay, you're gonna have an empowered Slark, and you have counterpicked the Luna in lane just a little bit. Frank is going to, and hopefully should have a relatively stable time versus the Luna. Of course, Luna, not really a ranged hero, plays in that in between, gonna get a lot of right clicks, gonna get harassed a bunch by Frank. But I also don't think Luna in the long term is really going to care about that lane all too much. Not to mention, she has hybrid damage. You pop your Ghost Shroud, you're not out of the woods versus the Luna, and sometimes it just seals your fate.
Yeah, it's... I don't know. I just feel like Lava have sort of made this extra difficult for them, and maybe unnecessarily so, right? With the sort of selections that they've made. I mean, like you said, at the end of this game, we could be sitting here, hands on head, saying, like, you know, how has no one thought of the Slark before? It was so great. It completely did everything and carried the game, but I will be very much surprised if that is our response at the end of this game. It seems far more likely that we'll sit there and think, yeah, Slark still doesn't really go.
Yeah, and I think really Lava, if there's one thing that they have done, they're very chaotic. They're very run at you, get in, get out. They're looking for just these sloppy, super long team fights where the Sark comes in and out with 30, 40 stacks playing versus these strength heroes. Now, is that actually going to happen? Well, we're going to have to see. But I think that's the game plan they try to run. They pick up the Necro so that way they have a hero that's going to allow them to maybe survive a little bit longer here. But again, I'm very hesitant to believe in the Lava lineup right now, but totally ready to be proved wrong.
Yeah, I mean, we have been very much wrong in the past with some of these draft pickups, but Lava, it seems like a strange time to try something like this, but if it works out, then more power to them. As we mentioned, these two squads still fighting to secure their position. 10 wins for Thunder Awaken, 9 wins for Lava. As... Ooh, smoke is going to break. Kim, you are a little bit surrounded. He hasn't skilled anything yet, so he could try to roll out if he gets the space. But he will be able to do so, just barely.
Yeah, very close. I feel like this is the third or fourth time I've seen Thunder Awaken do this. They immediately put the ward up here, and then they're just looking for the 4 position walking in. Thankfully, it's an Earth Spirit, but unfortunately, in the previous series, when that was the Scarif Mage, you're just super duper dead. And anyway, Matthew's got to get the body blocks, but wait a second.
Yeah, that roll is going to be blocked off, but that's still the tier 2. They're not willing to dive that far. But, well, this should get them a positional advantage, or although, yeah, that would have required them to wrap the other way around. Instead, it's just going to be the harass. They'll get into the river to try and fight for the rune. But Matthew, I mean, they need to know. He's got the Searing Chains. Yeah, that's a problem. Goes in. Frank might be taking a little bit more damage than he anticipated, and again, it's further harassed. That's what, 2 or 3 heroes now that are going to have to burn through a tango or 2, so Thunder Awaken not ever willing to really overextend that early, but they will do some damage.
Yeah, and hey, you got Leo Style to skill up Skewer of all things level 1, right? So he's still going to be able to put pressure on Dark Mago, and okay, actually hits it. Gonna make him eat, I think, 3 or 4 tower shots. Yeah, really good body blocks, but I was gonna say that's a kind of a win for Dark Mago, is him having the skewer. He just needs to be careful, but not careful enough, and okay, Dark Mago. We'll have to see once the shockwave's online. I mean, Dark Mago could definitely give up a death here.
Yeah, this is a bit of a rough one for him to be dropped this slow this quickly, because now you have to be kind of careful, but he's got tangos. He's gonna start to heal up, and it'll be a little bit less problematic, but if you're Leo Style, I think I'm interested to see if he does want to put a point in the shockwave. Yeah, he will do so, but that means that he doesn't have the empower for a little while longer, but not really sure he's going to care too much about that. You don't really need the empower for the first couple of creep waves, or if you do, then there's some other stuff going on.
No, yeah, and well, it's not the most exciting lane. We'll be back once it gets level 6, and then oh, wait a second. Dark Mago's got to stop this.
It's just... I said before he had tangos. They're all gone. That was the last one, so... That's not something you can afford to do. Leo Style is just kind of catching him off guard repeatedly. So, yeah, normally this lane would be pretty boring, but if Leo Style is going to continuously be a threat with that pullback, then Dark Mago could very well be taken down. For now, though, going to make the assumption that he will not be caught out in the next 10 seconds. We can actually look elsewhere on the map as we'll see how the Luna's doing down bot, because Did get the point up in the Lucent Beam at level 1 to try and track some of those kills. Did he get hit again? I think he did. He got sort of skewered back. He doesn't die this time, but Dark Mago making it really hard to look anywhere else as Leo Style's going to pull him back in, and I think he's got this with one more hit. But the Torrent, it'll come through. Leo Style's got the skewer back up, though, so if he really does want to keep trying, this is certainly going to help. Here comes Kim. He's going to roll his way forward. Dark Mago gets stunned, and Dark Mago is going to try to deny the creeps. Doesn't happen, but over on the other side of the map, Sacred, he actually got first blood before that, taking down Katyu, so it's still a 2-for-1 across the map that Lava are going to be very happy with, but at least the first blood bonus remains with Thunder Awaken.
What did you expect?
Yeah, I think the Jakiro top just got a little bit too low. You had that stat steal, and then, well, actually not even the stat steal. It's just the Timber Chain, and of course, really strong spell level 1, just very low mana cost, and Kitaro isn't at this point yet in his build where he can really assist that much. Second point up in the Essence shift, now he's very obnoxious, and, well, unfortunately, I think the 4 is gone. The 4 is playing somewhere else. Matthew's already taken a leap out. Sacred might just go down. Oh.
Sacred will be okay for now. Well, down in the bottom lane, that's where the 4 went. Matthew rotates bot. Kim and Frank both get caught out, and that is actually, that's pretty fantastic. Panda and Pakaz did push forward by themselves initially. Got a little bit of damage in, but then didn't sort of press the issue. So then Lava assume that the 2-man game is all that they've got going. Then Matthew makes his move, and instead it's a 3v2, and you see the results. They're able to find a couple of kills. Now Matthew made his way mid. Didn't get the Searing Chains down there as he opted to hold it. And at this point, I don't really think he's looking for the actual fight. Is he?
Yeah.
This gonna
Just
actually
the room,
stack?
maybe.
No, he hits it once and then backs off.
Yeah, a little bit awkward, but Sacred's missing his buddy right now. He is feeling like he's 1v2ing as a Timbersaw versus a Slark, and well, Kitaro, he went for the boots instead of the early Orb of Corrosion, so he's not able to necessarily provide that much damage, but yeah. It's so funny seeing Matthew just do this constantly, just because it's like, he's still doing his job, he's still playing 4, he's still Matthew, but just being on Ember Spirit, it's just never ends to be entertaining.
Sacred. Okay, should be just fine there, but yeah. Putting him on the Ember Spirit, it's like just giving a guy, what, like a cool jacket and some shades. It's like, you know underneath it, it's the same human being, but for some reason, it's just a little bit cooler.
Yeah, exactly that. And Sacred, okay. It's gonna be a little bit unfortunate. Actually, it gets broken by the Hill Troll, and well, hey, that's a few less stacks you get to play with. Nice Timber Chain out though, and until Slark is level 6, I mean, damage is gonna be done. But this is the worst Timbersaw lane I think we've seen so far. Okay, maybe Devise was worse in the
Devise
previous
was still
game,
pretty
but
awful.
but this is quite slower than usually what we're used to seeing. Usually Timbersaw's getting that lane to themselves and then not feeling too hard pressured, usually getting the level advantage over the safe laner, but not this time around. Katara's really working to make him pay for it.
Slark pick is, at least early on, not looking too bad here. And that Timber, though, he may not be having a great time, but I don't think you can force him fully out. He's got the Ring of Health and a Soul Ring, so should be just fine unless there's an actual rotation in here. And Matthew continues to be spending quite a bit of time outside of the actual lane. One for the stack once again, moving over to try and protect a rune spawn. Katyu, though, is here as well. That is a regen that Leo Style's going to be able to pick up. And now, middle lane, Dark Mango, he doesn't get hit by the stun. The slow is going to be there, though. Now there's the pullback from the shockwave into the skewer, but this is getting a little bit awkward. Now the RP is going to come out, but where's the follow-up damage? Dark Mago is still making a fight of this, but eventually he'll go down. Panda, it was close, but not quite close enough. The Aphotic Shield may have saved the day. Instead, they're going to be able to get that kill. Now they want another one. They roll it onto Matthew in the aftermath of the ice path, and, well, that goes pretty fantastically. Meanwhile, the Timber died up in the top lane.
Got soul killed by Kitaro, maybe just underestimating how many stats he was actually stealing, and that's a kill you don't want to give up, Sacred, but hey, sure, Kitaro's taking it. But yeah,
that Eclipse.
It's so close.
The Eclipse was just enough. Now, okay, Matthew comes in to clean things up. That would have been a disaster on top of the 3 heroes that they had already lost there. If Pakaz had been taken down as well, you are just looking at an just unparalleled sort of reset for Thunder Awaken's momentum. Matthew's able to sort of, well, save the day a little bit, and now they'll go back on the offensive. Dark Mago is maybe a little bit pissed off about all the attention he's received mid, combines forces with Panda to take Cat Yu down, and it's going to make the Kunkka feel that little bit better. He is starting to fall behind Leo style by actually about 400 or 500 gold, but find pickoffs like that, move into the jungle where Matthew has done a pretty decent job of stacking up at least one of those camps, and he might be able to recover fairly quickly. But now Leo style pushing into the jungle. Pakaz, after narrowly avoiding the death down bot, didn't actually heal up. He went into the jungle instead. He is going to pay for it as they do take him down. Matthew and Panda are going to look for some sort of revenge play here, but I really think the best they can do is the Earth Spirit, and they may not even get that at this point. Leo style is just sort of jerking him around with the skewer, with the shockwave, and now Kim just turns around, kills Matthew off, and that felt a little bit too greedy for Bakaz. Okay, you survived down bot, that's fantastic, but get a salve brought out, have a teammate bring it to you, I don't know. Instead, he just thinks the jungle will protect me, and that is very clearly not the case.
No, and, well, important kills to give off, and really, that's where the jungle is a little bit more dangerous to stick around in, especially this area where there's a reason for it to be warded now. There's a reason for the 4 position to make trips over towards this area, so just having that vision already placed down, it's unfortunate, but hey, Sacred got his revenge with the skill build. Not too many points in the reactive, but hey, 3 points in Timber Chain and level 6, that's enough to kill a Slark if he's not too careful. I think that was also Matthew coming over just with the sleight of fist and had enough damage.
A little bit of revenge there as they take down the Slark. Said Slark, though, still sitting second overall in net worth, so the start has been solid for Kitaro, and now the question that I have is, does he just go back up to the top lane, or do we see him maybe move elsewhere? No, it's just going to be the top lane. He doesn't really have any major item yet. He's looking for the Echo, and he's getting pretty close to it. 400 away from finishing that off, but prior to that purchase, there's not really a whole lot to be done by him joining any of these fights.
Nope, definitely not. But
fights.
Mid? Oh, it's timed
Into
perfectly.
boat, but not really much more to do after that. That torrent was very off the mark. I think the Ice Path may have had something to do with that, but at least if you're the Kunkka, you grabbed yourself a DD rune. He's going to be able to get into the jungle and farm up a little bit, but down in the bottom lane, Frank really had just been sort of keeping his head down, pushing the lane out, getting continuous damage on that tower, and he will claim the objective, and now, well, Kim actually might get caught out, but Leo style is looking. He's going to skewer in. The RP is going to be there for the follow-up. They even have the scythe if they need it, but I don't think they will. No, Leo style gets both kills. Reaper Scythe preserved. Kim didn't even die as he rolled away on a sliver of HP, and Lava are starting to feel stronger and stronger here. Leo style, unlike that sort of Yuma game that we were looking at earlier on, he is really just not missing with some of these plays.
No, and they're coming way sooner, and look at that. 10 minutes into the game, Blink treads, this mag is raring to go, and anybody who shows on this mid wave, I can only imagine they're going to try and hide it. That's why Leo style, he's not giving it up just yet, but as soon as there's a smoke play, that's what they're going to look for. And Mago, well,
there it is. They've got him. That Ice Path is unfortunately a little off the mark, but I think they can still get this if the Scythe comes through, but he's going to get hit by the boat before he can actually cast it. There is no Reaper Scythe. And now the fight will turn. Kim, that is not your side of the river. He was trying to sort of roll over just in case they needed further damage. Instead, he gets ambushed and taken down, and Leo style was very nearly caught as well, but he's able to blink his way out of the X, and that is really so unfortunate. If that Ice Path hits, if Frank is able to get off the Reaper Scythe before he's hit by the boat, so many ifs in that fight. At the end of the day, Thunder Awaken sort of get away with one there. They keep their core safe. They find a kill on the Earth Spirit.
yeah, really just need to be slightly more patient on the Jakiro, but hey, get that out of your mind. You didn't use RP. It was a very low committal spell. It's just the reveal of the Blank Dagger, which it definitely hurts, but it won't hurt eventually. And now, Lava really aren't letting up pressure. They've still moved into this area. Unfortunately, when they went for that play mid, Pandabu immediately took back this triangle, this jungle area, and suddenly you've got 3 warriors all in the same vicinity, and now Lava are very easily getting booted out. There just isn't really enough vision for them to play in the dark, where Thunder Awaken know exactly what you're up to.
Time on. Kim gonna roll in, stun and slow onto Panda. The X, though, actually didn't matter. Leostyle, that blink was perfect. He was supposed to be pulled back into the torrent. Instead, he blinks out just before the torrent would have hit him. And now with Kitaro joining the fight, they're going to push their way forward. Panda dropping low. That Eclipse is, well, not fully committed to. The first couple of hits from the beams come through, and then your Luna kind of backs away as Leostyle able to get off the RP. They blocked him down. Unfortunately, Sacred just Timber Chained into the Ice Path, so he's going to get stunned up as well. They see an opportunity. They're going to try to push their way forward. The Reaper Scythe on Frank, still not used, but again, he gets hit by that bow. Same scenario, but it's not going to matter this time. Dark Mago will be pulled back, and Frank says, thank you. Now I can hit that Scythe, guaranteed. And they do find the kill, a huge one at that. But there's a little bit of a revenge play coming in. Kaz wants to push forward. Unfortunately, he's going to do so without the Eclipse, but they may not need it. Leostyle's just getting blown up. He's already dead. And Frank getting body blocked a little bit here as well. He's kicked into the river by Kim, who will then roll out himself. But I'm not sure we're done with this fight. Sacred is still trying to get over here, but his Timber Chain actually put him in the river rather than on the high ground, so he's not actually going to be able to catch anyone.
Yeah, everybody just is able to walk away. Unfortunately, the Earth Spirit,
Hold on.
he's still caught.
Someone had to be sacrificed, I suppose, but I say that Leostyle was the one who was sacrificed there, as your Awaken were able to take him down, so neither side really shying away from the fights. 21 combined kills in about 14 minutes, and might have some further fighting, because Leostyle, he doesn't want to give up his tier 1 tower. He's going to look for that skewer back onto Panda. The problem is Panda, he's got the ult, so he's just going to be able to walk away for now. His teammates, however, not looking to help him. Instead, they're looking to take down Frank. They spot him farming alone in the south side. And they will find the pickoff, while Panda, he's going to be okay.
Yep, he gets to walk away. They don't, sadly, don't have enough damage after they product shield and the art time actually popped. So, hey, get a nice little reset. The biggest problem I think that Thunder Awaken haven't addressed just yet is Kitaro has just been farming away, been empowered pretty much this entire game. Ever since Leostyle has the blink, he can actually make the trip over to the Sark, give him that acceleration, and they're going mid on Leostyle again, and
Torrent comes in, Torrent's there, Leostyle's dead. Now, what's the punishment here? There's going to be a macro pyre thrown down, silence deployed as well. Sacred, though, like, he's so tanky, he doesn't really care. He's got that Hood of Defiance for the shield now, because that's another Eclipse that's going to be a little bit off. Reaper Scythe comes in to kill off Dark Mago a second time. And they're losing quite a bit here, because he has to be careful of his own HP, but he's holding the high ground, and now the Sight of Fist from Matthew comes through. Frank might just die to the Bouncing Glaive. No, it's the Lucent Beam that does him in, but he will still die, and that is going to help really tip that one to Thunder Awaken. The loss of Dark Mago was rough, but you trade him out for 2 cores.
yeah, and for a second there, it looked really bad because Sacred was ticking down from the rum. Everybody was really ticking down from the rum on Thunder Awaken, but then it's the other overextension from Lava, and okay, they're still going, but the most unfortunate thing about that fight is that during all of that, Kitaro's courier was just barely about to bring him this Diffusal Blade, and I think with it, maybe they get an extra kill onto the Luna, maybe they get an extra kill on the Pandabu just because there's less mana to work with, but because of the courier just being slightly delayed, they don't get it, and they want this tower, they want the fight, they have RP again, so we can look for that big play, and they're kind of leading on a Sacred.
Ooh.
Nice X. Oh,
Dark Mago,
Dark
that's
Mago.
a nifty play, and now Kitaro's the one stuck out in the middle of this. There's going to be the Torrent into the Ghost Ship, and like you said in the draft, you still take so much of that magic damage. Kitaro is down, and the fight is over. Lava have to run. Well, okay, no, fight's not over. Matthew says we're going to keep on going, looking to get any further kills. Kim is trying to roll away. It looks like for now he'll be safe, but that means they can go back in onto the Jakiro and the Necro, or honestly, yeah, they can just keep chasing after Kim apparently as Sacred moves forward once again. Now they've spotted Leostyle. He is so slow with that Chakram on him. And this is turning into a slaughter. They're going to lose Katyu as well as Matthew gets in with the maxed out Sleight of Fist, and you lose 4. That was supposed to be Lava pushing forward with Kitaro. Instead, they lose the Slark immediately, and it's just a terrible engagement overall.
yeah, it's just all of the Timbersaw spells, the boat, the Tidebringers, the Remnants, everything just gets thrown on you regardless, and, well, you see Kitaro just immediately queues up the BKB, and that's your solution, but it's a very expensive solution, and one that's not really going to help you with any of the other aspects of the game, and Okay, it's not going to feel too bad because on the other side, you do have Picaz just going for the BKB immediately as well. But I feel like that's where the Luna's going to want to end up and where you have to end up in 9 times out of 10. So I'm just a little bit concerned here for the way that the pace is getting set. And I think, again, it comes back to Leo style. We need to see more plays from him. He was feeling so good in those early stages. I just need to see a little bit more. I think past 5 minutes, it's just been him kind of getting stopped by Dark Mago and Pandabu just breaking up his fight and breaking up his initiation.
Yeah, this is the thing that's really unfortunate. Leo style, he had this Treads blink at what, like 10 or 11 minutes. We are 6 minutes past, and I think he's got components. Yeah, he is closing in on finishing off a Yule Scepter, but closing in is not actually finishing it. So it was an incredible start. I think he was 5-0 at one point, 5-3-4 now. So progression has sort of skidded to a halt, and while he waits to finish off that Yule Scepter, Thunder Awaken are going into the Roche Pit.
Yep, and this is honestly a very early Roche. They're going to need to rely on Sacred, mainly for the pure damage coming in from his chakram, but with Abaddon, doesn't feel nearly as difficult, and this is with only 3 heroes hitting it. Matthew's going to finally join after it's pretty much halfway done, but I don't think Lava expect them to be taking it this early, nor did they think that they would just let their mid tower be so open to assault, but Lava not knowing where they are, they just can't make the correct decision, and now, immediately Smoke afterwards, they want to fight immediately. They want to look for something, and Sacred just finished the Halberd, so if Katara's not careful, you're not going to have a Slark.
Jim does a good job to sort of break that initially, but unfortunately Katyu is still in trouble. He tried for the Tumbler's Toy, but it doesn't get him over the cliff. But, well, Dark Mako had already used the X, so Katyu just TP's home, and he is actually going to be okay. Meanwhile, because we're into Katara, this is a bit of a carry fight with no backup as of yet, but Katara realizes it won't be that way for long. The rest of Thunder Awaken could easily get over, so he's going to fall back. Could just TP out right now, or look to stick around, maybe try and snag a little bit of extra farm, but this is starting to get risky.
He's just playing around nighttime vision, of course. Luna's also pretty good with the nighttime vision, but at the same time, this is when Katara could still make this play. You see Picaz queuing up the Hurricane Pike because he knows, and okay, Picaz, gotta be careful here, but he's baiting a little bit. Nicely thought from Katara because I think he sticks around just a second longer and then Sacred tries to blow him up.
Good news for Thunder Awaken in the aftermath of that is that they are going to turn this into a push on the tower, and they don't have a creep wave here to help out, but I'm not sure because needs a whole lot of help. He just should take the tower with the help of Sacred and Panda, so who needs creeps? They get through the tier 1. Pretty easy job there, and I believe that's the last of the tier 1 towers that Lava had. Yes, it is, so map control could become a bit more of a factor moving forward. As I say that, Lava are moving their way across the map, so not really willing to give up that ground just yet, but you start to wonder at this point, when do Lava start to ramp up the aggression again? When do they start looking for the RPs? When does the Earth Spirit make plays like this, trying to roll his way into the fights? Unfortunately, this is a bad example, because he just rolled himself into a death, so not quite that. Maybe something a little different. But the fact remains, Lava have sort of taken their foot off the gas a little bit in terms of how aggressive they've been. They're still finding farm on cores, but Slark, Mag, and Necro aren't going to farm as fast as a Luna and a Kunkka on the opposing side.
Nope, definitely not, and it's really sad to see. And, well, Sacred, he's playing, and, well, freebie, nice kill. Just more in his pocket, really, and yet again, we're seeing the Timbersaw just peeking up into the top 3 net worths, just because Sacred is everywhere he needs to be. He's farming all the way, and that's where, looking over at Leo style, he's finally decided to focus on his game a little bit more, but it's been a Yule Scepter as his decision and purchase, so sure, it helps him survive a little bit more versus the Ember Spirit, but that's no Shadow Blade, that's no BKB, that's no Echo Saber. A lot of the damage, at least coming in later, is still going to be coming mainly from Kataro, and it's where you still have this concern with whether or not you're too much into the Slark camp and if you're going to have any continuous damage after. Meanwhile, if Thunder Awaken just get on top of your towers like they have been, there's nothing you can do. You can try to macro pyro, you can try to delay as much as you can, but with only one tier 2 standing, they are blitzkrieging these buildings.
Yeah, they're just so much focused on those objectives right now, and it's going to pay off for them, right? Already talked about Lava not going to be able to outfarm the opposing cores. Now you're not even going to have the space to really try if you're getting pushed back into your base right now. And under Awaken, they really do look like they want to give it a try. They're up to the tier 3. TP's got to sort of come back here as Leo Style is going to get into position. He'll look for the skewer now as well, but the X, there it is defensively once again. Kaz pulled away from that. He did have the Aegis even if he was brought down, but he'd rather not have to use it. Instead, you can continue the siege, and Frank, you got to be very careful standing that far forward. He does get locked down a little bit, but he's able to heal himself back up. Now they're going to go in onto the Luna again, but there's the X again. Dark Mago is the problem here. If they don't really account for him, these skewer plays aren't going to work, and Kaz all the while is just biding his time. Now he goes in with the Eclipse, and Frank is taken down. I mean, how many times does Leo Style have to miss the skewer because of Dark Mago before they actually do something about it? This time at least, there's a finally a skewer that comes in that isn't canceled, but only because Sacred was so far forward, and now his teammates, they're just going to push in. Leo Style's dead about 10 feet away from his own damn fountain. We're 23 minutes in.
Yeah, and it's the Luna effect. Once you break that tier 3, it's time to run, it's time to retreat, and I like that Pecans pops his BKB on his first life knowing that there's just so much damage, and they're just using this Kunkka so efficiently. They bring him back to Sacred. Oh, you're out of mana? Here, let me fix you. Dark Mago's just playing out of his mind, and this is just 2 free racks. I don't know if we're going to see a rebuttal here. Wheelstyle's up in 22, but that's it, and yeah, he's buying back. He's angry. He needs something.
Let's see what they can get. Sacred is starting to push a little bit further forward than his teammates, so... Well, I was going to say maybe they can punish that, but he just Timber Chains himself out, and this buyback, gotta try and make something happen with it, but the Yules, Matthew, just faster on the draw. Leo Style is not going to be able to get the initiation just yet. Meanwhile, Kataro, he got hit by a torrent. Now the Chakram, he's got to make sure he doesn't just get taken down like Kim did further to the east. As Makaz turns around, gets the stun, finds the kill. Now they've got Frank caught out in the X. They'll pull him into the ghost ship, and Kataro says, you know what, you're on your own, bro. I'm going to go farm the jungle. But at this point, he can't. I mean, you're going to lose your base if he's not back in. You might lose the base even if he is back in. You might just lose the game, actually, for that matter. As Thunder Awaken are going after tier 4s, and Lava have not conceded defeat just yet, but I don't really know what more they can do.
No, and once the tier 4 is gone, there's no skewer play into the fountain. Matthew's just biding time, but okay, they're going to have to fight instead, and Kataro popped his BKB, but is this it?
Kataro is trying to fight, getting up those stacks of the Essence Shift, but I don't know if this is a good idea. Leo Style, he tried to skewer back in, but he's pulled by the X. He's going to die. No buyback on your mag in this defense. It is really looking like it's starting to lose steam. They've at least held the Ancient for now, but they need to make sure they don't go too far. Kataro, though, that's a rough one. He's going to get hit by the Disarm, pulled back in by the X. Torrent will connect. Tidebringer even hitting him up. He's dropping low, trying to get back to the fountain. It looks like he'll be able to do so, but that just means Thunder Awaken go right back onto this Ancient. It's below half HP now. Lava, do they go in again? Yes, they do, but the Eclipse is just burning through Kataro. He's able to get out, but there's the GG. They will finally call it, realizing the Ancient's just going to get taken down. We really can't break through, so... Well, Thunder Awaken, a 3rd straight win today. And, well, ET, we get to have our sort of I told you so moment, right? Because that Slark really did not look very good.
It didn't look good. He got a solo kill on Sacred, like,
True.
a bunch of minutes ago, but aside from that, I really think that the hero just wasn't able to carry the player this time around, and they really weren't able to stop anything that Thunder Awaken were kind of putting down. They had better team fight, arguably they had a better offlaner in the Timbersaw, and they were just going to push objectives. And how do you stop Thunder Awaken from actually getting all of your buildings in this game? Even though you pick up the Necro to have maybe a lane answer versus the Luna, and you don't have that many offlaners still left in the pool, you have very little wave clear, you have very little ability to push out these lanes, and if you end up in a turret battle between you and a Luna, well, the Luna's just simply going to win, especially because you have the Abaddon behind you, you have the Rum buff, you have all of these players just making this Luna kind of prop her up on his shoulders. And of course the Ogre was banned out, but I feel like Panda Boo was right at home here. Didn't really feel like he ever skipped a beat. Meanwhile, Lava, they had their moment very early on. Leo Style had a crazy snowball. He was really trying to get going, but aside from Leo Style, don't feel like we really saw enough from Moose. Don't feel like we really saw enough from Frank either. I feel like there were a lot of moments where just maybe a step or two behind, not able to get the Reaper Scythe. And it's also where, unfortunately, you're playing versus strength meta. You're playing versus these heroes like the Kunkka and the Timbersaw, where you need damage. You need real damage. And unfortunately, Slark's not real damage. And I think with how painfully slow the damage was coming through from Lava, just didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, and at this point, Thunder Predator now today have played 3 games against 2 of the stronger teams in the field, record-wise for sure, maybe even sort of reputation-wise. On top of that, and they've made those opponents look a little silly, winning all 3 games, and none of those 3 games have been particularly close. We've never really looked and said Thunder Awaken almost blew it or didn't really have it. Every time it's just been they've built the lead early, they've held it throughout the rest of the game, and they've put their opponents in a position where they don't seem to have any significant response.
Yeah. Game 2, let's see if the Mars and the Ember are banned out, but I feel like Matt, somebody's got to stop him. Somebody's got to stop this from happening.
Can't keep getting away with it, but he has so far. And like you said, we'll see. Lava, high level team. Obviously, they get their butts handed to them a little bit here, but there's got to be some sort of adjustment from them. We shall see. It's going to be our final game of the night, game 2 between Thunder Awaken and Lava. Can Thunder Awaken get the perfect 4-0 on the day, or will Lava be able to pull this one back for that 1-1 draw? We'll be finding out in about 5 to 10 minutes. Stick around and we'll be right back.